Ria's journey of self-discovery was always tied to her passion for art, but it was only after that pivotal conversation with her friends that she began to fully embrace it. The scholarship had been her parents' dream for her, a golden ticket to a future they had carefully planned. But for Ria, it had always felt like a cage. The moment she decided to choose her own path, she felt like a weight had been lifted. No longer was she going to be bound by the expectations placed upon her. She was free to carve out a future that was authentically hers. As Ria stepped into her new life, the world of art that had always felt like an escape became her life's purpose. She had always enjoyed creating, but had never taken the time to truly explore her own voice. Her college professors, who had always admired her technical skill, began to see a different side of her as she took more risks in her work. Her pieces became more personal, more raw, revealing emotions and struggles she had hidden for years. Despite the relief that came with following her passion, Ria found herself confronting the painful reality of her family's expectations. Her parents were not fully supportive of her decision, despite their attempts to understand. They didn't see art as a real career, and their worry about her future lingered in every conversation. Ria knew she had to stand firm. She kept her head down and worked hard, dedicating herself to mastering the craft she loved. In the quiet hours of the night, after her classes were done, Ria would return to her small apartment and pour herself into her art. Some nights, the silence of the studio was deafening, but it was in those moments she felt the most connected to herself. She painted in a frenzy, with every stroke reflecting her growing confidence and her need to assert her independence. Her first solo exhibition arrived sooner than she had anticipated. It was a small event at a local gallery, a humble start, but to Ria, it felt like the culmination of years of internal struggle. The gallery was filled with her works, each painting telling a part of her story. A self-portrait of vulnerability, a piece that captured the loneliness she had often felt, and another that depicted a dream of freedom, her dreams unburdened by anyone's expectations. The night of the exhibition, her parents showed up, albeit reluctantly. They were clearly uncomfortable in the world of art, but they tried. Their expressions softened as they looked at her work. They didn't fully understand it, but they began to see that this was no passing phase. Ria was serious about this. It wasn't a perfect reconciliation, but it was a step forward. For the first time, Ria felt like her parents were beginning to understand who she was, even if they didn't agree with her choices. The show itself was a success, and though she didn't sell every piece, it was enough for her to feel like she had made a mark. The validation came not from the buyers, but from the realization that she was creating for herself, not for anyone else. As Ria continued to push boundaries in her art, she started receiving invitations to collaborate with other artists and showcase her work in larger venues. With each new opportunity, Ria felt more and more confident in her decision to follow her own path. But most importantly, she learned that success wasn't about pleasing others. It was about finding fulfillment in the work itself. She had learned to trust her instincts, and for the first time in her life, she was living authentically.